It's lovely to be here at the end of a year when it's dark days and darker evenings. So we've put together something that we hope is quite light and that you will enjoy. Alison and I discovered as we got to know each other more and more that we both liked similar books, that we liked similar wildlife, and then we discovered that we liked poetry. And that's the theme of tonight. Alison's done some wonderful illustrations to poetry, well known and perhaps not so well known. We discovered also that we have two favourite poets, and that's John Donne and Norman McCaig. So they will be recurring themes as we go through tonight's talk. So I'll hand over to Alison for a minute or two.
Okay, well, can you hear me okay? Yeah. I would say that I have been drawn to birds, but I've also drawn birds virtually all my life. And it started off obviously with the coloured pencils and the wax crayons and all that sort of things. Then I developed on from there, and it was mainly, until I retired, pencil drawings with watercolour. And as you can see, that wasn't taken from my photograph. I would be so lucky to get a photograph of that. So it was usually from photographs from magazines like the RSPB and books, but it was always from other people's photographs really at that point. But I've moved on because since I retired, I've been able to go to a whole lot of different art workshops and visit artist studios, and that's from Eyemouth, believe it or not, to Port William. So I've been right across the whole borders. And that has allowed me to develop my techniques with my art. So I'm now doing lino printing, reduction lino printing, mono printing, intaglio etching printing, and I use pastels with ink, and I use ink pastels with pencil. So my repertoire has got slightly wider now. I would have to say now as well, since I retired, I've been able to spend a lot more time on the photography. So virtually most of these images are from my photographs, except for one or two exceptions, and I'll come to that as we go through. Okay, the first poem we've got tonight is Dipper by Norman McCaig, and I know Malcolm likes Norman McCaig because you mentioned him at your talk. So here we are, the Dipper. I'll just briefly explain what my image is on each one, but very briefly. So on the left, watercolour, and on the right, it's a lino print.
Wow, no webbed feet, but a waterbird for all that. And a gentlemanly one. He walks along the bottom of his helter-skelter stream wearing a white shirt front and a brown cummerbund. He hates dry land. Flying up a twisty stream, he follows the twists all the way. When he perches on a stone, it's a wet one. He stands there, bobbing and bobbing as though the water's applauding him. He likes his nest to be behind a rippling tapestry. A tapestry? Well, a waterfall, naturally.
The next poem is also about The Dipper, The Dipper by Kathleen Jamie, a contemporary poet and writer. And the image here is a reduction lino print, but the background is a print that I did at Hairstains with Ian Cox. And it was taken a print of a log instead of cutting cross-section and long section. We made these enormous prints. And what I've liked about it is it's allowed me to sort of pretend that's water. So
it was winter, near freezing. I'd walked through a forest of firs when I saw issue out of a waterfall. A solitary bird. It lit on a damp rock, and as water swept stupidly on, wrung from its own throat supple, undamnable song. It isn't mine to give. I can't coax this bird to my hand that knows the depth of the river, yet sings of it on the land.
We've got The Kingfisher next by John Foster, and that's just a simple watercolour.
Dropping like a splinter from the sky, it knives the water, swiftly strikes, turns, surges up through the splintering surface, back to the willow branch, where it sits, triumphant, wet feathers glistening, its silver catch dangling from its beak.
We're sticking with Kingfisher now. This is Robert Macfarlane, who's a a very contemporary artist, poet, writer, and I put these images up. I take the photographs and then I develop sketches from them. So the wee image on the left is a sketch that I then use to create the reduction lino print.
Well, this one we've had a few laughs about because it's not the easiest one in the world to read out loud. You ready? Kingfisher, the colour giver, fire bringer, flame flicker, the river quiver, ink black bill, orange throat, and quick blue back. See what I mean? Big feather stream. Neat and still, it sits on the snag of a stick until, with gold flare, wing fan, whip crack, the kingfisher, zingfisher, singfisher, flashes down to follow, quicker and quicker, carves its hollow in the water, slings its arrow super swift, to swallow, stickleback, shrimp, or minnow. Halcyon is its other name, also ripple charmer, water nester, evening angler, weather teller, rain bringer, and rainbow bird that sets the stream alight with burn and glitter.
I've got the heronry now, again by Kathleen Jamie. The image on the left is a simple lino cut, just black ink and white paper, but the one on the right is a reduction print, which takes a lot more processes to develop.
6th of February, a Saturday. I wheel the bike out of its winter shed, go buy papers and rolls and dump them on the kitchen table. Then I cycle upriver to the south bank. A golden dozen, a golden eye, ride out the channel marker, and 2, maybe 3 tufted duck. But I want to check if the herons are congregated yet. Scholarly and ridiculous in the spindly sauce of the island, though it's early days. That said, for the first time this year, the pylons of the cars are shining, like someone switched on, flicked an almighty switch. That wind again, fit to flay you, like pages snatched. Clouds flit west with all that's written there, heartfelt, raw. The street lamps sift their small light down on a wakeful street. A slate slips, wheelie bins count, and 3 fields away, a branch on a Scots pine snaps, and down falls cradle and all. What will the ospreys do then, poor things, when they make it a home? Build it up, sticks and twigs, big and little, build a big inn.
Sitting with herons this time, so this is the heron by J.C. Milne. J.C. Milne was a very well-known northeast of Scotland. I've always got to say that, you know, of Scotland. And he wrote poems, but they're in the Doric. So I thought maybe it should be me that reads this.
Absolutely.
Okay, so here we go. And apologies if you don't understand the word, it's not a problem. Said a heron gai sma, as he spake wi' a cra. I dinna like hurting folks' feelings, but the truties doon here in Buchan I swear are nae like the truths of the Hielands. Said the heron gai sma wi' a geck and a thra. Nae doot you've gweed taties and heron, but deal the bit truth that abdi taks out. It's no fit for a hero or heron. Said the heron gai sma yab yablin awa. Your waters are nae worth a docken. I ain't snabbit out in Glendrammock, twa truth, as big as the bullers of Buchan. Don't foon up the cra, good whapping awa. We, whatever heard of Glendrammock? Oh, all the havers ye hear, frae fishers, I swear, are more than a body could stomach. Back to English. We've got The Wren this time by John Clare, which is one of our favourite poems.
And of course, you'll recognise that the way it's said is representative of it having been written a very long time ago. Why is the cuckoo's melody preferred, and the nightingale's rich song so fondly praised in poets' rhymes? Is there no other bird of nature's minstrelsy that oft has raised to ecstasy and mirth as well? I judge not how another's taste is caught. With mine there's others' birds that bear the bell, whose song hath crowds of happy memories brought. Such the wood pigeon singing in the dell, and little wren that many times has sought shelter from showers in huts where I did dwell. In early spring the tenants of the plain tenting my sheep, and still they come to tell the happy stories of the past again.
Wren, this time by Robert Macfarlane, and the images here on the left, this is the intaglio etching I mentioned earlier, which is basically where you scratch into a surface and then you print off that. That's a very simplistic way of describing the process. However, I meant to say at the beginning, I do have some sample stuff here. If anybody wants to come have a chat at the interval, I'd be happy to give a wee bit more information on it. This one is the one on the right is just a, I keep saying it's simple. It's a lino print with it's a brown background, so you can change the image by the different background colours.
Same bird, modern poet. When wren whirs from firs, the world around her slows, for wren is quick, so quick she blurs the air, though through which she flows. Yes, rapid is the wren needle, rapid wren is pin, and rapid wren's song is sharp song, briar song, thorn song, and wren's flight is dart flight, flick, flick, flight, flight, light flick, yes. Each wren etches, stitches, switches, glitches, yes. Now you think you see a wren, now you don't.
Right, this one is The Crow by William Canton, and the image here is something I discovered in one of these workshops I was on, that you can actually use the inside of Tetra Pak cartons, and some of them, if you open them, have got a foiled lining inside, so you can actually use that, you can draw into it and then peel bits out, and then if you ink it, obviously the black ink goes right into the paper that's behind, and the surface you can also just rub it off to create whatever pattern you want. So I think this one, was beetroot juice.
And I think this is a very, very atmospheric. It's lovely. It's that sort of glint as you go to the right hand side.
Thank you.
Anyway, with rakish eye and plannish crop, oblivious of the farmer's gun upon the naked ash tree top, the crow sits basking in the sun. An old ungodly rogue I wot, for perched in black against the blue, his feathers torn with beak and shot let woeful glints of April through. The year's new grass and golden eyed the daisies sparkle underneath, and chestnut trees on either side have opened every ruddy sheath. But doubtful still of frost and snow, the ash alone stands stark and bare, and on its topmost twig the crow takes the glad morning's sun and air.
The next poem is Ringed Plover by a Water's Edge by the lovely Norman McCaig, and it's just a simple sketch there in a watercolour.
They sprint 8 feet and stop, just like that. They sprint yard, like that, and stop. They have no acceleration, and they have no brakes. Top speed's their only one. They're alive, put life through the burning glass. They're its focus, but they share the world of delicate clockwork. In spasmodic Indian file, they parallel the parallel ripples. When they stop, they suddenly are gravel.
It's a lovely poem, that. We've got The Sparrow next, another Norman McCaig, and this is pencil and watercolour image there.
Well, he's no artist. His taste in clothes is more dowdy than gaudy. And his nest, that blackbird writing pretty scrolls on the air with the gold nib of his beak, he'd call it a slum. To stalk solitary on lawns, to sing solitary in midnight trees, to glide solitary over the grey Atlantics. Not for him. He'd rather have a punch-up in a gutter. He carries what learning he has lightly. It is in fact based only on the usefulness whose result is survival. A proletarian bird, no scholar.
Right, the next one, the Yellowhammer, this is Thomas Hardy this time. The image on the left is what I was calling earlier a reduction lino print, and that is basically you start off with your piece and then cut small bits out, print, cut more out, print, cut more out, print. You get the gist of it, it goes on forever. So that was really my first effort with that technique. The image on the right is a reduction lino print with some ink. But I meant to say at the beginning, I said they were mainly all my photographs, but the rare exception is actually, where are you, Alison? I can't see you. You're hiding something. He's at the back. Alistair Cutter very kindly, over the last few years, has shared his beautiful photographs with me. And there are times when I get something and I just have to do a piece of art with it. So it's a big thank you to Alistair, but that's from one of his images.
When, towards summer's close, lanes are dry, and unclipped the hedgerow grows, there we fly, while the harvest wagons pass with their load, shedding corn upon the grass by the road. In a flock we follow them, on and on, seize a wheat ear by the stem, and are gone, with our funny little song. Thus you may often see us flitting along, day by day.
Well, now we have a poem called Silent Stillness, and it's by our very own Nancy Marshall. The images here are watercolours of my favourite bird, the hooper swan. But over to you, Nancy.
Silent stillness, sky, ice blue, motionless above a smooth loch, mirroring the sky like a still life scene. Then, a snowstorm of swans, soundlessly swooping, sinking waterward, each syncopated snowflock of swan, seeking a spot to settle. But a cacophony of landing, a splatter of feet, whoops of alarm, rustling of water, ripples racing to lochbank, only to eddy back again. Mallards mutter discontent upon the intrusion of white noise into their muddied reed bed. Flurries of mumbling movement, jostling for space, for harmony again. Pools of puddles filling with placating plumage, interspersal of duck and swan. Mutterings mildly muting, to become again silent stillness.
Thank you, Nancy. Excuse me.
I love this one.
This is Something Told the Wild Geese by Rachel Field, and the image is a simple pastel Indian ink. When we looked at the Something Told the Wild Geese in my image, it was like, I don't think anybody told that one. It's like,
It's kind of looking good. Where's everybody gone? Who is it? We even named him, but never mind. Anyway, something told the wild geese it was time to go. Though the fields lay golden, something whispered, snow. Leaves were green and stirring, berries still lustre-glossed, but beneath warm feathers, something cautioned, frost. All the sagging orchards steamed with amber spice, but each wild breast stiffened at remembered ice. Something told the wild geese it was time to fly. Summer sun on their wings, winter in their cry.
the next poem, is Swans by George Mackay Brown. He's a very well-known Orcadian poet and author. We've got a few of his coming up. And the images here were taking photographs I took at Hare Moss, where the mute swan was nesting on the opposite side from the hide. But I put them both up because it shows from the same sketch that I did from the photograph. I was able to do an intaglio etching technique on the left one, and then the right hand one's a monoprint, which is a fairly straightforward process if you get it right.
Out on the loch, white blown blossoms, all summer long, a troop of princesses. They smash the glass of the loch. Gently, gently they seek the reeds under an ancient stone. The blue and the gold will never end. Summer will never end. But the fields of the loch change slowly from green to gold. You are the steadfast ones. Other birds fly north and south, seeking the ice, questing the sun. But winter finds you. See, it hovers about you. First snowflake out of the dark cloud, 1,000,000,000,000 hexagons, purest crystal. And the hill, when the cloud is broken, whiter than you, proud birds. Their blue and silver palace a prison. They walk on the Isle of Exile, those princesses.
I'm staying with George Mackay Brown again. This one's Swans at Brodgar.
Circles, circles everywhere. Everything that sets out must complete a journey. What appears to us as voyagers a tangle, random blund is seen, angel vantaged, as certain as the star wheel, or the journey from a route that ends in the June rose. The seed, the bequest, will quicken under snow. Circles compel us everywhere, sun and stone and bird flight. Ancient wisdom knew the law of circles, instructing the quarrymen and masons of Brodgar in the purity and inevitability of stone setting. And the great white birds, caught in a random circle of repose, will rise soon to the blood's curve and thirst.
Another George Mackay Brown again. It's Shag's Mother and Chick, this one. Again, the one on the left is another Tetra Pak. Can't remember what kind of juice that was.
Carrot, you said?
Oh, carrot, that's right. I'm carrot.
You threw it out and made the picture.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate the second line of this poem.
I know you do, but you'll manage.
Maybe not, maybe not. Young one, you are to thank the artificer. I told you I would make a mess. Young one, you are to thank the artificer of birds always. You have not the swan's beauty, nor the kestrel's cruel plummet and strike, nor the lark's broken scattering necklace of notes along the red west, nor the duck's clown procession from barn to farmyard, nor the gull's blizzarding after ploughs and fishing boats. To be a cormorant is to sit on a sea rock, a lean, dark tide watcher, to photographer and poet only.
Well, Nancy. Would you like to introduce this one?
No, I don't want to.
Okay, I will do it myself. And I'm afraid we're back in the Doric. It's very brief, so you're okay. So this is Caw, 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 again by J.C. Milne. Caw, 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 said an old Dane craw, as he decked his nib in a docking. I'm wearing a wa, but I care me a straw, for I've tasted the tatties a bucking. Oh, Lorraine, do you want to get your phone?
Sorry.
No,
It's okay, it's okay.
It's okay. Right, next one is back to John Clare, and this is Little Trotty Wagtail. So again, it's reduction print with that background again.
Little Trotty Wagtail, he went in the rain, and tittering, tottering sideways, he now got straight again. He stopped to get a worm and looked up to catch a fly, and then he flew away ere his feathers they were dry. Little Trotty Wagtail, he waddled in the mud. He left his little footmarks, trample where he would. He waddled in the water, pudge and waggle went his tail. He chirruped up his wings to dry them upon the garden rail. So, Trotty Wagtail, you nimble all about, and in the dimpling water pludge you waddle in and out. And home is nigh at hand, and in the warm pigsty is his master Wigtail. I'll bid you goodbye.
Magpie this time by Robert McFarlane. It's that simple watercolour with it.
Magpie manifesto. Argue every toss. Gossip, bigger, yak and snicker all day long. Pick a fight in an empty room. Interrupt, interject, intercept, intervene. Every magpie, but every magpie against every other walking, flying, swimming, creeping creature on the earth. Magpies are like that.
Yeah, you like that one, don't you?
How did you know?
We've got A Murder of Crows by Dilys Rose this time, which I think is a bit quite poetic in itself. A simple liner cut again this time.
We're the best dressed here. Forget the scruffy starlings, dishevelled thrushes, the gaudy tints and finches. They're all a waste of space. We're the real class act. Never a feather out of place. Our blacks are perfectly matched. Like gangsters, ministers, we demand respect. Our quills drink in the light. Pink.
Next one up is Hope. Hope is the Thing with Feathers by Emily Dickinson, very well known writer from quite a while back, and poet. This poem doesn't really specifically mention a species of bird, if you like. So Nancy and I tried to think what gives you a wee bit of hope sometimes. And to be honest, for me it's hearing, and then if you're really lucky, seeing a goldcrest. So the one on the left, that's an ink pastel with pencil, and then I've got wee watercolour at the bottom, and again an intaglio etching print on the right hand side.
Hope is a thing with feathers, but perches in the soul, and sings the tune without words, and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. It's nice.
Next one is Dunnock, and it's again by our Nancy. I'll give it a proper introduction in a second. But the image here that I actually did this to go with Nancy's poem, it's a monoprint background, and if you look really carefully, you'll see a wee drawing at the bottom of the Dunnock, because that's what they're like. You can never actually see them. So here we have Dunnock by Nancy Marshall.
No eye catch, Dunnock. No splash of colour, Dunnock. No sweep of wing or flash of tail. Only a movement of darkness, Dunnock. A lift of leaf under the tree as Dunnock seeks the shade. The quiet of the undergrowth, the hedgerow and the thorny bramble is its domain. No sing that burbles to greet the day, with lilting harmonious sound, but quiet Dunnock's steady call, a piper above the undergrowth, a shrill call, "This is me, this is me!" But to the undergrowth is his return, safe, quiet, Dunnock.
Okay, well done, Nancy. Nest Eggs this time by Robert Louis Stevenson, and this time it's a very simple monoprint with some stencil work on the top to represent the eggs.
Birds all the sunny day flutter and quarrel, here in the arbour-like tent of a laurel. Here in the fork the brown nest is seated, 4 little blue eggs the mother keeps heated, while we stand watching her, staring like gabies. Safe in each egg are the bird's little babies. Soon the frail eggs they shall chip, and upspringing make all the April woods merry with singing. Younger than we are, O children, and frailer, soon in the blue air they'll be, singer and sailor. We, so much older, taller and stronger, we shall look down on the birdies no longer.
We're back to Norman McCaig again this time, and this is Starling on a Green Lawn. This is a lino print, which is on white paper with black ink, with just a wee bit extra colour put on it.
He makes a business of going nowhere. He's like a hopping with a bird in it. The somewheres and any place which he recognises at once. His track is zig, zag, zag, zig, zig, zag, zag, zag. He angles himself to the sun, and his blackness becomes something fallen from a stained glass window. He's Guy King, a Guy Prince, though his royal habit is to walk with his hands clasped behind his back. Now he's flown up like a mad glove to a fence post. He squinnies at the world and draws a cork from the bottle.
Starling again, this time by Robert Macfarlane. And I put this one up because it's from the same sketch, but it's like a negative instead of a positive, so you're cutting out the image of the starling rather than leaving it in when you do the lino print, and then just a wee bit extra colour on it.
Should green, as moss be mixed with blue of steel, be mixed with gleam of gold, you still fall short by far of the tar bright oil, sleek thin sheen and gloss of starling wing. And if you sampled sneaker squeaks and car alarms and phone ring tones, you still come nowhere near the rooftop, rip-rap, street-smart, hip-hop of starling song. Let shade clasp, cold clasp, pitch clasp, storm clasp, witch clasp, they'd still be pale beside the, in the dead of the night, black, cave black, headcock, fight back gleam of a starling eye. Northern lights teaching shoaling fish, teaching swarming flies, teaching clouding ink would never learn the ghostly, swirling, surging, whirling, melting murmuration of starling flock.
Next one is Blackbird by John Drinkwater, and again this is a Tetra Pak carton that I used to do this one, and I honestly can't remember what juice that was.
But I do think the Tetra Pak gives it a mysterious
Yeah, I mean,
shading.
what you can't do with the Tetra Pak is I don't have a press, so I've got to go to an artist studio to do that. You could use that to take it and do lots of it, but I discovered I quite liked it just looking at it with the shiny surface. So that's what I've been doing.
He comes on chosen evenings, my beautiful blackbird, and sings over the garden of the town, just at the hour when the sun goes down. His flight across the chimneys thick. By some divine arithmetic, he comes to his customary stack and crouches there, his plumage black. And there he lifts his yellow bill, kindled against the sunset, till these suburbs are like Dimmock woods, where music has her solitudes. And while he mocks the winter's wrong, wrapped on his pinnacle of song, figured above our garden plots, these are celestial chimney pots. Oh no, not again!
Sorry. Me again, sorry. This is Caw again by J.C. Milne. Caw, said a strapping young crow, as he dabbed his nib in a lochen. The water's all recht, for sick a like hecht, but it's not like the water a buchan. Right, this one is Spring and Winter 1 by William Shakespeare, and
We've never found Spring and Winter 2.
no, I don't know if you wrote that, or somebody else maybe did. Whack. This one's a ink pastel with ink detail. But the image on the right is, I discovered, I found out I could go to Robert Smales, the print workshop, printers. I can never remember the name of the place properly. Anyway, Smales. And there you can use the old typeset and do your own thing. And I was really keen to put some text in some of my work. So this one, it looks kind of simple, but it takes forever because it's left to right and upside down and all the rest of it. And then to get it to go round on the image, I mean that took all day, believe it or not, and a lot of effort, proofs. So that, and the reason I put it all the way round was because that photograph was taken in Skye when we were on holiday, and there were literally cuckoos cuckooing all around us, so I thought it was quite appropriate to do that.
When daisies pied and violets blue, and lady smocks all silver white, and cuckoo buds of yellow hue do paint the meadows with delight. The cuckoo then on every tree mocks married men, for thus sings he, cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. Oh, word of fear, unpleasing to a married ear. When shepherds pipe on oaten straws, and merry larks are ploughmen's clocks, when turtles tread, and rooks and daws, and maidens bleach their summer smocks, the cuckoo then on every tree mocks married men, for thus sings he, cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. Oh, word of fear, unpleasing to a married ear.
Next one is one of my favourite poems, Blackbird in a Sunset Bush by Norman McCaig. And the image here is, instead of a reduction lino print, it's actually overlaying different lino prints one on top of the other to get the image. The text is, I really wanted to put that bit of text on the mount for the picture, and I spent ages doing it. It looks simple but takes forever. Did that, you proof it, you try it, you proof it and all the rest of it. Then you get it home and you realise you know that McCaig's got 2 A's in it like that. So I decided just to pretend I was a teacher, Nancy, and correct it.
Put the right line. Everything's in the sunset. Windows flare in it. Rooms blush. Cars scatter everywhere. They make the city one huge pin table. Life is opulent as thunder. Only the blackbird there contemplates what the sun sets in, what makes a flower ponderous and breathes a mountain away. The gravity of beauty, how thoughtfully, how pensively he puts it. Charcoal philosopher in his blazing study.
We've got John Clare again now, and this is the Thrush's Nest, and the lino print on the left, and a pastel with Indian ink, on the right hand side.
Within a thick and spreading hawthorn bush that overhung a molehill, large and round, I heard from morn to morn a merry thrush sing hymns to sunrise, and I drank the sound with joy, and often an intruding guest, I watched her secret toil from day to day. How true she warped the moss to form a nest, and modelled it within with wood and clay, and by, like heath bells gilt with dew, there lay her shining eggs, as bright as flowers, ink spotted over shells of greeny blue. And there I witnessed in the sunny hours a brood of nature's minstrels chirp and fly, glad as the summer sunshine and the laughing sky.
Right, you don't need to go yet actually, I'll do this one first. This is the Jackdaw by William Cowper, and it's a basic lino print with a wee touch of colour.
There is a bird who by his coat and by the hoarseness of his note might be supposed to be a crow, a great frequenter of the church, where, bishop-like, he finds a perch, and dormitory too. Above the steeple shines a plate that turns and turns to indicate from what point blows the weather. Look up, your brains begin to swim. 'Tis the clouds that pleases him, he chooses it the rather. Fond of the speculative height, thither he wings his airy flight, and thence securely sees the bustle and the rare show that occupy mankind below. Secure and at his ease. You think, no doubt, he sits and muses on future broken bones and bruises, if he should chance to fall. No, not a single thought like that employ his philosophic pate or troubles it at all. He sees that this great roundabout, this world, with all its motley rout, church, army, physic, law, its customs and its businesses, is no concern of his, and says, what ye caw. Thrice happy bird, I too have seen much of the vanities of men, and sick of having seen 'em, would cheerfully these limbs resign for such a pair of wings as thine, and such a head between 'em.
Okay, ladies, do you want to go to start it? I'm not doing the teas. Well, I really enjoyed that, saying that. Right, what I would like to do while they're out getting organised, I've put up some images here, and I said early on that I really was grateful to Alison Cutter for sharing his photographs with me. So these are other images that don't have a point to go with it. And I think we've got to thank Alistair for a lot of things, because he does a huge amount of monitoring and survey work, and he also looks after Beamerside Hyde and all the rest of it. So it's a personal thank you as well, because if you hadn't sent me these pictures, I wouldn't have been inspired to do that. So there's a variety of things there, like a black grouse leg images that you sent me. The wee wood jack snipe at the bottom there. We were very lucky. Malcolm and I went along with Alistair with his infrared camera device, and we were able early one morning to look into the kind of rush area, and lo and behold, you could see the wee red eye and sometimes the legs of the birds. But this, I struggled. Two of them, oh yeah, there's one there, and I'm looking, but I was looking too far. It was actually there. It was astonishing. So that inspired me to do that one. The nightjar is phenomenal photographs, Alistair. I mean, that's in daylight. That's my drawing, but it's in daylight. So, and he also goes away places, because there's the puffin. I think was that the Farne Islands? Yeah. So I've got a lot of thanks to him, and the bottom right one is a short-eared owl that Alistair came across. I think he saw one and went back to see if it was there the next day, and it sat very close and personal. So I would like to give Alistair this wee present, which has got the owl.
It's fine. We're ready to start all over again, are we?
Yeah, we could. Are we having more birds?
Mere birds.
Yeah, birds even.
How about cows?
Okay, how about two coos?
Two cows. Okay. Well, says Dapple to Nell. I don't know what they intended us for. Milk, butter, cheese, a couple of hides for Bairn's winter boots.
Said Nell to Dapple, I've heard darker talk. Me took sirloin steaks, sausages.
Oh, says Dapple to Nell, all I know this beautiful summer morning is the grass is sweet with dewfall on it.
Said Nell to Dapple, yes, think no further than one bright day. Farm children crossing the field to the school always stroke our silk flanks.
Well, what about flowers?
Flowers, okay. Dandelion?
Okay.
But said that.
Dandelion. Dazzle me, little son of the grass, and spin me, tiny time machine. Tick, tock, sun, clock, thistle and dock. Now no longer known as dandelion, lion's tooth or wind blow. Tick, tock, sun, clock, nettle and dock. Evening glow, milk witch or parachute. So let new names take and root, thrive and grow. Tick, tock, sun, clock, rattle and dock. I would make you some new names, such as Bane of Lawn Perfectionists, or Fallen Star of the Football Pitch, or Scatter Seat. But never would I call you simply wheat. Tick, tock, sun, clock, clover and dock.
Okay, so we've had flowers now. How about some lump and beasties?
Okay, life and beasties are fine.
I can do that. This is Hair by Robert Burns.
Inhuman man, curse on thy barbarous art, and blasted be thy murder-aiming eye. May pity never soothe thee with a sigh, nor ever pleasure glad thy glad heart, thy cruel heart. Go live, poor wanderer of the wood and field, the bitter little of that life remains. No more the thickening brakes and verdant plains to thee shall home, or food, or pastime yield. Seek, mangled wretch, some place of wonted rest. No more of rest, but now thy dying bed, the sheltering rushes whistling o'er my head, the cold earth with my bloody bosom pressed. Oft as by wending nith I musing wait the sober eve, or hail the cheerful dawn, I'll miss thee sporting o'er the dewy lawn, and curse the ruffian's aim, and mourn thy hapless fate.
Well, I don't think that here's going to be looping much after that. Well, there are other looping pieces though.
We do have. What we've missed is we could go back to Norman.
Oh, please.
Yeah, because I think he liked reptiles, didn't he?
did.
He did. What did you
This
tell?
one, yeah, this one's a toad by Norman the Cake. He was very much into toads.
And here's what he said. Stop looking like a purse. How could a purse squeal under the rickety door and sit full of satisfaction in a man's house? You clamber towards me on your four corners. Right hand, left foot, left hand, right foot. Oh, but I love you for being a toad, for crawling like a Japanese wrestler, and for not being frightened.
Well, of course, there's the toad's sort of cousin, if you want to put it that way.
Oh, well, yeah.
There's, again,
What have you
McCaig.
got then?
Well, I've got Norman McCaig again, my last word on frogs.
And it wasn't his last word.
He certainly had a few more words.
People have said to me, you seem to like frogs. They keep jumping into your poems. I do. I love the way they sit, compact as a cat, and as indifferent to everything but style, like a lady remembering to keep her knees together. And I love the elegant way they jump and the inelegant way they land. So human. I feel close to them. I must be froggish myself. I look in the mirror expecting to see a fairy tale prince.
Well, my favourite poet is Nancy, so she's going to do another one here that's Christmas Robin.
Meet me, Mr. Superstar. Model extraordinaire, head up, tail down, chest puffed up like a Dickensian John Bull. Where do you want me? On a fence post? Top of a pillar box? Have you got my good side? No other models, please. I'm a soul star. Hat, scarf, Santa's bonnet suits my colouring, certainly. But like all superstars, there's a private me. I love my morning singing, my dashing round your garden, sitting on your spade, looking excitedly for a worm, a grub, turned over by you, my gardener friend. Perhaps in springtime I'll find refuge and enjoy nature's home. I might even fall in love. But in the meantime, lights, camera, action. I pose for calendars and cards, my artificial life that I hope gives you Christmas joy and makes you smile.
Well, we're wondering what we've missed out here tonight.
I can tell you what we've missed.
Thank you.
Yes, we've missed squirrels.
Oh, squirrels.
And I have a red squirrel, 2 red squirrels that come into the garden. I've got one in the back garden that comes about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, it's now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I've got one in the morning, as Tricia first noticed. It was Tricia that first noticed the red squirrel in my front garden climbing up the birch tree. Do you remember? When we weigh in trying to slim down. So we've missed that red squirrel.
That's from a photograph I took up at a place up in Colburn, and it was right outside, came down outside the house. It was beautiful. But this wee squirrel has got a wee message, I think, in its hand there. So what could that be,
I
Nancy?
don't know what that could be.
It's